What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one. Hope all is well. There are trade rumors speculating on Shedeur later on in the season involving the Indianapolis Colts, so we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about what has to happen for Shedeur to play this season. He could play very soon, and we're going to talk about why. What's going on, guys? Thank you for the support. Let's get on into it. So there are believe it or not, there are trade rumors that are speculating sometime late in the season, like around November. Heavy.com detained a potential blockbuster. Let's get into this. I was going to say this for last, but it says Heavy.com detailed a potential blockbuster. The Cleveland Browns could trade Shedeur Sanders and possibly a fourth-round pick to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for Anthony Richardson. Yeah, guys, Anthony Richardson. The idea is that Richardson, though talented, has struggled to secure the Colts starting job behind Daniel Jones. It might be available by mid-season. This could give Cleveland a high-ceiling quarterback while retaining Dillon Gabriel and planning for the 2026 draft. Another site echoed this scenario, noting how such speculation gained traction when Sanders showed early promise in training camp. Even though the deal hasn't materialized, they emphasized that a swap wouldn't make much sense right now, given Richardson's inconsistency and injury history. Now, what is fueling the rumors, you might add here? High upside versus underutilized potential. Richardson was a 4th overall pick in 2023. Known for his elite physical traits, but is currently benched and facing an uncertain role in Indianapolis. A trade could rejuvenate his trajectory. Cleveland's value mindset. Some analysts see Sanders as a buy low, sell high asset. If he impressed in preseason, the Browns could potentially flip him for greater value like Richardson before the broader quarterback landscape shifts in 2026. It says, but there are red flags. It says Richardson struggles. His early NFL career has been marred by injuries, inconsistency, and low competition rates, raising doubts about his long-term viability. He sees as a risky investment, unlikely fit. The Browns already have a crowded quarterback room. Swapping Sanders for another unproven arm may not alleviate their concerns. The speculation is understandable given his draft slot and developmental promise, but right now the Cleveland appears intent on evaluating him firsthand. Agent interest, but not formal request. On Anthony Richardson end, his agent did broach the topic of a trade with Colts general manager Chris Ballard, but there is no formal request or official action taken yet. And the Colts have publicly stated they have belief in Richardson potential. All right, let me give my opinion here. So you heard that. All right, so that trade doesn't make sense because I've been hearing a lot of people say that Shedeur has a high has a high ceiling. What does a high ceiling mean? That means he have a huge potential to become a star and play in this league. The potential is very high. A lot of people say you have a high ceiling because of his elite accuracy, his arm strength, his ability. He's not a statue, his ability to move out of the pocket, different things like that. Now, some people are worried about him dropping back in the pocket, holding on the ball too long. Those are things that has been talked about with Shedeur Sanders. But here's the thing. A former Browns star player, offensive lineman, said that Shedeur, has a high ceiling. If he has a high ceiling, that's not somebody you trade unless you're going to get something for him. Unless you can get some type of value. Now, I know some people say, well, how are they going to get value? He's a 5th round draft pick, because everybody know what they have here. Everybody knows. But it doesn't make sense. The trade doesn't make sense. I'm hearing Anthony Richardson is having some problems, some injuries in the past, but maybe he is ready to go as well. But it doesn't make no sense bringing him in if you're not going to use him. I mean, you already have Dillon Gabriel at number 2. You already have Flacco, and you have another quarterback that's trying to come back, Deshaun Watson trying to come back. But I think they're really looking into the future, into 2026 draft. I honestly believe that's what the Colts are doing. I don't think that trade is something that makes sense. I know there's some chatter out there about the Colts trade, but I don't think it makes sense. It does make sense for Shedeur, though, if they trade him, because Shedeur go play with the Colts because they need him. He can go play with the Colts right now. That trade makes sense for Shedeur, but not nobody else. Which I'm okay with the trade. If they want to trade him to Indianapolis, that's cool. I think that's real cool. However, I don't think it's going to come to pass, but we'll see. Now, as far as what has to go down right now for Shedeur to play this season, he can play, guys, he can play as early as week 2 or 3. It just depends on what happens. You know, injuries happen. I don't wish injuries on anybody, but, you know, you have to bring it up because it's a very vicious sport. Things can happen. Dillon could go in. They might not like how he's performing. Shedeur is what they call the emergency quarterback, and that's how he'll come in and play. So again, Shedeur has to be in the mindset that he's playing. He has to have that mindset that he could play at any time. And with him, I know there was some talk about him not getting any reps. He's getting reps now. We're just not seeing him, but for sure, he's getting all the reps he needs right now because you never know if you're going to need him or not. You never know. I mean, anything can literally happen to where you need him. So, yes, he's getting the reps. Definitely seeing the reps with the first and second team. I'm sure of it. And one thing that, you know, is kind of exciting, you get to see him in the NFL uniform this weekend, even though he may not play, just depending on how the game goes. But more than likely, he may not play, but he will be suited up with the team and traveling with the team. That's important. Why is that important? Because he get to stand out there and get experience and look at what's going on and soak everything in. So that is a positive. So I am looking at this in a positive aspect as well, despite what happened early on. But you got to look at it. He's not being thrown in the fire right now. He can sit on the sidelines with the headset on and look at the plays and look at how Joe Flacco go about his business. So that is a plus for Shedeur right there. Another plus is, like I said, he has no pressure. He has no pressure, even though he has to be under that mindset that he might play, but he doesn't have any pressure. He can look at everything and analyze the game speed and analyze everything that he needs to do. Okay, I need to throw it away in this situation. I need to do this in this situation. I see how Flacco go about his business. I see what Flacco do in this situation. I would say listen to Flacco, look at Flacco because he did enough to be in the league for 18 years. This is his 18th season. So Shedeur, as of right now, it all worked out to where he's in a good place. It all worked out. Yes, ideally, he wants to start on opening day like Cam Ward. Tom Brady didn't get his start right away. So we're going to look at it like that. But guys, it could come as early as game 1. It could come as early as game 1, just depending on how things flow in the game. I don't think so, but that's a potential that it could happen. But I don't know. I see them starting the season off 0-5. I don't know. They have I could be surprised though. But like I said, they have a really tough schedule. They got to go to Baltimore, Bengals. Yeah, it's a really tough schedule. But however, we're gonna see what happens. Opening day. It's going to be exciting. He gets to walk out that tunnel with the NFL jersey on. At least Shedeur could say that. I got drafted. I actually made the plane. I'm walking out in the tunnel with my NFL uniform on. You know, what difference a year make? And all the other things in between. All the other activities that we know is a matter of history now, what happened to him. So it's crazy, man. You know, we're definitely going to see what happens and, go from there. But I don't think the trade with Anthony Richardson is likely. since Shedeur has a high ceiling, it's a few things they can tweak with him and he's be ready to go. Drop your comment below. Let me know how you feel. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.